wouldn't be surprised if they ran it again given the opportunity, because it is obviously something that Jetpacks is very comfortable with. However, at the same time, I do think Crystal Power Sky could have made that game maybe end even faster and could have given them even more of an advantage in the early game.
Most certainly, and we do see SK Gaming coming out with the first ban of Koshka once again. And what do you think Rebel Tiger's going to ban this time, Rome?
Probably an Arden.
All right, are going to see an Arden ban come out.
Hey, if an Arden's on the board, so far they take it.
But that is not an Arden, but first pick Arden, what do you think? Let's wait for it. Come on. It's going to be Arden. It's Arden. Of course, I think every single game so
for
far.
3 with first pick Ardens. Well,
4 for 4 now. Yeah, so first pick Arden, definitely a priority in these European finals. What do you think they're going to take next?
I'm going to guess it's going to be a Fortress.
All right. Well, we do see the Fortress and we see a Glaive. So, fantastic prediction skills. Good job.
2 for 2.
We're fantastic at this. All right. So, with this Fortress and Glaive coming out from Rebel Tiger, do you think we are going to see another Weapon Sky? I think this is a perfect comp to pick it into.
They're actually going to have to be really smart with this comp, like for SK picking up next. Because the thing is, with Rebel Tiger having such a strong jungle comp in the early game, they need, on the side of SK, they need somebody in the lane that's able to transition down, like move down and help out his team. Because like if they have a lane hero that's really slow, hard to see, yes, and like he's not really able to help out in 3v2 fights, the jungle's just going to get run over.
Right, so big priority for SK this game will be to make sure that their jungle does stay alive. But they might have to do some interesting rotations. They might go start from the front. What do you think they're going to... Oh, okay.
Oh,
they go with the Cruel and Celeste. So the double stun, sort of triple stun if they go through the gauntlet coming out from SK. And this could work out extremely well for them.
It's our first Celeste EU.
Yeah, best Celeste EU. Waldemar, formerly known as best Celeste EU. So let's see if he does it to his namesake.
All right, Humanist. Betting man, well, if you said Sky, you would have definitely been right.
We've seen Skies all day in EU today.
Yep, and they've definitely been showing up. Sky coming out for Rebel Tiger. So Sky, Glaive, and Fortress versus Arden, Celeste, and Kroll. Who do you think has a stronger composition here?
Although I really like SK's comp, especially with them having such comfort picks in Celeste, Kroll, and Arden, I'm kind of leaning towards the game of Rebel Tiger. Just because they have that strong early game aggression and they're able to like make more moves, it's going to be depending on which team outplays the other team. Right,
and it's something we can definitely expect coming out from Rebel Tiger. The Glaive, the Sky, the Fortress. Do you think this Glaive will go into lane? I'm personally guessing he will, because the Sky and the Fortress together can completely run over SK's early game.
Yeah, most definitely. But they do have a lot of options. Like it also depends on who's able to counterattack Kroll better. Like not leaving him too much room to farm in the jungle, not leaving him too much room to just to like scale into the mid game, scale into the late game, getting that early game CS. So probably I would go put a Glaive in the jungle, to be honest.
Right, and I think one of the major points of this game will be how well can Kroll stick to anyone. Because Glaive, he afterburns away, he punts Kroll away. Sky just dances around him. Can Kroll actually stick to his targets, or will he just be completely useless? Yeah,
again, it's like a game of mobility with the Sky. Like with high skill cap players, like they're able to use their mobility to that advantage. And with Glaive's afterburn, you have so much choices in your hand just to initiate a play.
Most certainly. All right. We have our final picks here, so take it away. You guys?
Yeah,
you got this.
We're going to be coming into this one here momentarily, but could this actually be the secret weapon? Rebel Tiger bringing out the Fortress, and not only is it actually going to be the Fortress, but Fortress Glaive. We did talk a little bit about that early game. The Sky coming into it already with a crystal bit, so unfortunately, not quite the repeat there. Of course, was not Jetpacks there for Rebel Tiger to pick it up. But Bacon, I mean, you're definitely a better fan of the Crystal.
Yeah, I do really like the Crystal, and that does seem to be what Legendaries is going to be running here. As Zikent sort of mentioned and alluded to, I'm really not big on the Kroll pick here, and I'm one of the biggest fans of Kroll that there is, but I really don't like that pick into this composition. He is going to have a hard time sticking on anybody. Obviously, Glaive can afterburn away, can afterburn and knock Kroll away. You then have, of course, Sky with the mobility, and the fact that you're going to end up with this early game where Rebel Tiger should be able to run all over the jungle of SK Gaming. There should not be a 2-on-2 trade in this jungle that Rebel Tiger does not win.
Well, that's going to be up to them to kind of prove that, as it was the prediction, putting the Glaive there into that lane, and we'll have to see what kind of early game aggression will go on. We actually have a little bit of a bounce there into the jungle right now, as a bit of an invade. My MYQ is actually going to be the big target. You can see those bleed stacks there from Akuma as well as legendaries. This is exactly what the analysts were talking about. They should be able to just command a lot of this early game. As we all know, Kroll takes a while to kind of ramp up.
Yeah, and Kroll, everyone talks about how he is weak early game. And that sort of comes with a little asterisk next to it for me, because Kroll is extremely strong at these lane ganks as they're trying to set one up here, but they were seen. MIQ was seen walking into that bush.
The right word, right?
So not exactly the best of lane ganks there, but it's the jungle. Early in the jungle is where Kroll is very, very weak. So I would heavily expect to see Rebel Tiger putting some serious attention into trying to invade them at every opportunity. And I'm actually a little surprised that we've only seen, we're only 2 minutes in, but I would have expected to see more pressure in the jungle from Rebel Tiger.
Well, a little bit here more passive from the Rebel Tiger than we were expecting, but at the same time, the creep scores are coming back fast and furious. 18 to the 23. Something about these melee laners that just have such much better early CS coming into the CJ Manto. Yeah, he's going to get denied that attack through that bush, but again, he is more or less still in control of this this mid. Even if he gets jumped at all by this Arden, he can just afterburn away.
Yeah, and I really like the decision from SK Gaming. They've noticed that Rebel Tiger is, for whatever reason, not being extremely aggressive on the jungle. So they're putting MYQ into the lane, letting him kind of babysit the Celeste a little bit, but more importantly, letting Kroll have that solo experience, which is huge. Kroll wants levels. A lot of his strength is based on his item build and getting to certain item points early on, but if he can get up to level 6, once he gets to 6 and level 8, having that overdrive is huge for him, as there's going to be a skirmish in the jungle. This time, it's Rebel Tiger being aggressive. Yeah,
I liked how Legendaries was right there waiting for it. He absolutely predicted this, and that's going to be the first blood going over to Rebel Tiger. Kroll just has nowhere to go onto this one. He cannot return this one back around. And again, Fortress attacked MYQ right there. They saw the Vanguard opportunity, and Legendaries was right there with him and ready to go. The forward barrage, Series Strike forward barrage, and that Crystal Power really starting to pay off. Not only did we start off that bit, but now he has that Eclipse Prism there, as well as a little bit of regen to go with it. So he's just going to be good for days. CJ Manto, however, might not be. Akuma trying to go over that wall just is not going to be happening. At the same time, Sky's able to take down Celeste there in that lane, and Jetpacks is still going to be running from the hills because Akuma is sitting right there on top of him.
Yeah, Jetpacks does manage to get away from there, but that aggressive jungle move is what I expected from the start of the game. I expected them to be going in like that right after they first cleared the jungle and just be constantly doing it. The fact that it took them 3 to 4 minutes to really make an extremely aggressive move like that is something that I think is a bit of a mistake here from Rebel Tiger. They still have the lead right now. They have the 2 kills. They have about a 1,500 gold lead within the first 5 minutes, but Jetpacks has been able to actually, I was going to say he's been able to get himself farmed up. He's doing decently in terms of levels, sticking up with his team, but his CS numbers are very far behind.
16, now 17. Compare that to CJ Manto in the lane of 38 or Legendaries in the jungle of 36. I mean, Waldemar is really the only one kind of keeping constant to that one. Forward barrage forward there from Legendaries, but they just do not have what it takes to do that tower dive yet. But that is a level 6. That's the first level 6, I think, of the game, and it is going to Legendary. So that death from above is now something that could really happen. Akuma is going to be veritably bait, I think, at this point. Legendaries again, big death from above. Legendaries is going to go with, there's the death from above, cutting these guys off. Waldemar almost kicked right back into it, but it's Glaive right on top of that Celeste up there in the corner, but it's just not enough for any kind of kills. The teams are just going to bounce from each other. Legendary started that fight with pretty much no hit points, and if he's not careful, that actually might change here in a moment. Do we have anything to chase him down? The Vanguard on top of Jetpacks, and 1 and 2, and that is the first point on the board here for SK Gaming. That was way too greedy from Rebel Tiger.
Yeah, definitely sticking around too long, giving the kill over to Jetpacks, so also not the person you want to be getting the kill there either. The Spectral Smite did come out to secure that one. So SK Gaming with this Kroll able to, it's going to be so much focused on the late game. Not only is Kroll that big late game monster that everyone knows It's also the Celeste is extremely strong later on. She can kind of start being extremely effective starting at the mid game, but it's really going to be the late game focused team from SK here that Rebel Tiger needs to be very, very cautious of as they start off this gold mine.
All right, Solar Storm ready to go. Waldemar actually just basically threw it out. Jetpacks has that from Hell's Heart ready to go there as well. Immense gold payout is actually going to go over to the Rebel Tiger despite the interference coming out from MYQ and Celeste. But as we go back and forth, again, Rebel Tiger, this is very much the same as game number 1. They are maintaining that gold lead, but we'll have to see if they can keep up that pressure. Akuma does not have the hit points to kind of be where he is, and here comes Legendaries as well. With those Surrey Strikes, Jetpacks will get off that stun, and here comes the afterburn from Glaive as well. They are staying together, and Rebel Tigers, you know, big strength in numbers right there. They're going to get MYQ for it.
Yeah, the group mentality of Rebel Tiger just coming through there and allowing them to secure that 3rd kill of the game. Jetpacks was trying to get the kill onto Legendaries or onto, it didn't matter who he was going for. He just wanted the kill as he's going to be going down there. And that's, again, that jungle aggressiveness that I was expecting to see. It is paying off. They have been able to deny a good amount of gold from Jetpacks. He is still pretty far behind. Meanwhile, in the lane, Waldemar going to be able to survive here as he's definitely going to be where pretty much all of the eggs of SK are going to be thrown into Waldemar's basket. Yeah,
the Death Remove and the Forward Barrage both going to get defeated here, but Legendaries, he does have that one more Surrey Strike, and that is just going to go from bad to worse here from SK Gaming. Not only are they not holding kill lead or gold lead, but now very slowly you see a lot more of that aggression that you guys were expecting. The Fortress and the Sky have just been absolutely walking all over SK Gaming these last 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, they really hasn't been much of anything coming out of SK, and now there's going to be another fight here. Waldemar is, again, the only person on this team that is really being effective. There's from Hell's Heart. It is going to get a big stun down, and this is going to be SK finally showing some signs of life.
Oh, yeah, but it's Legendaries now covering the retreat here of Akuma, but will he pay for that? We do have the Heliogenesis, but it missed, and at the same time, Fortress was able to actually take down the Celeste into the back of it. We're now just making sure that we steal out that jungle, or at least prevent that jungle from the steal. Jetpacks is going forward. He's looking for it, but again, just can't do it. The gauntlet doesn't hit anything here either. And Legendaries, MYQ is just going on top of Akuma, but can he actually take home that kill? He can't. The Glaive is here, and they go way too deep for no reward. And Rebel Tiger, I got to give it to Legendaries right there. He did such a fantastic job of covering their escape, and you know, got a lot to say about that Frostburn.
Yeah, and the really smart play there is the fact that he would auto-attack the jungle camps just to get that lock-on and the movement speed bonus so he could stay in front of Jetpacks. Jetpacks was just chasing him down, trying to get onto him, trying to get any attacks onto him to get that Spectral Smite. And it just did not come out. Now Waldemar finally going to be in trouble and does go down.
I mean, we didn't even really need the stun portion of that one from CJ Mantle. That little bit of extra burst and the Surrey Strike coming out for the reposition. Legendaries, again, just kind of being this really legendary kind of play. 5-1-3, 53 creeps. He's still even like working so much damage into poke after poke after poke. In this 2v3 situation, we had such a huge creep wave from SK Gaming pushing up, and now it's just been absolutely decimated.
Yeah, the gold lead is sitting at almost 3,000 now in favor of Rebel Tiger, as they do have this 8-2 kill advantage. Again, eventually, SK's composition is going to be stronger, but it's a matter of if they can hold out long enough to get to that point. Their turret is still very healthy, though, so they are looking good to get to that late game stage.
MYQ used those boosts just to try to get into that that push, just to see if he could find somebody. But, oh, it's going to be scout traps and forward barrages for days for him. Now, we do actually have the puppies coming out. It's going to be chasing down not only MYQ, but it will find us Jetpacks, and that seems to be the big target. He's going to try to use those boots. The Frostburn not quite landing what it needs to, but Legendaries just absolutely annihilates MYQ. And again, more jungle steal, more map control going over to Rebel Tiger as that gold lead's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, and it's this Crystal Power Sky. He's just doing so much work. And we talked about the move speed manipulation. Frostburn added onto that the Jetpacks and the rest of SK have such a hard time getting onto these fights, and now they're just going to continue doing so.
Oh, that's a good core collapse and the stun. It's enough for Jetpacks actually to pick up that first kill in this fight, but now they got to deal with this Glaive. We talk a lot about the Sky, but the Glaive is not really something that you can ignore here either. And would you believe that Akuma, off to the side, was able to take down the Celeste just by himself? There is still a lot of cash advantage going to the way of Rebel Tiger. It's not all just on top of Legendaries.
Yeah, not all of it, but it is a good portion of it being there. 6-2-4 on the Sky. But Akuma, as you mentioned, 3-0-4 for the Fortress, is still going to be doing very well for himself. The bleeding and the percent health is just so strong on his kit right now. And it's almost like CJ Mantle sitting at 1-1-2. He's almost more of the one who's kind of just helping out when possible and not actually making as much of a difference as you would expect from a Glaive.
All right, so Waldemar is now back into that lane. The best Celeste EU, really just kind of proving her name right there. She clears out that creep wave and does a heck of a good amount of damage up to CJ Manto as well. Just forced him right back out of it. Now, this gold mine, how close is it to actually paying out? It's probably going to be a big target if it's left to its own devices. We got 3 minutes until that crack, and you can see Legendaries there as well, just really putting down a little bit more of the defense. If we do hold it for another 3 minutes, again, you know, the Kraken just going to eat it. Immense gold payout goes out. Rebel Tigers still going to be solidifying their gold lead, but Rebels are not really willing to kind of give up any of this control that they've acquired.
Yeah, Akuma did buy the minion candy there just to be safe, so that when it hasn't been used yet. But obviously, when that gold miner is going to become a big target, as the gauntlet goes down in the lane.
Yeah, but the reflex block allows that Sky to go right through it. CJ Manto actually looked like he got kicked right through a little bit, but he just used his afterburn to get to safety, ate the stun. There was no follow-up. Again, Celeste is doing massive damage. 377 by the end of it. Could we go for the Solar Storm snipe? She has it ready to go, but I don't think that the window is there anymore. It's definitely shut, and Waldemar really putting the irons here as Jetpacks. He gets some damage there on top of Manto, is looking for that Hell's Heart, but it's on cooldown, and until really we can get some of those cooldowns back, it's just going to be on the shoulders of Waldemar to keep this lane pushed and keep the aggressive Tigers at bay.
Yeah, and the amount of pressure that is on Waldemar's shoulders right now in this game, he has been the reason why they aren't massively behind at the moment, as there's going to be the Frostburn picked up for him to just kind of help just try and get a target that Krull can stick on. Obviously, the Shiver Steal is also completed for both Jetpacks and MYQ, because they are going to be struggling to keep Krull onto targets. But if they can get the fights that are in positions they want where they can stick onto an enemy, it can make such a huge difference, as we are getting into that sort of later mid to late game stage of the game where Jetpacks does have the breaking point as well. So it's going to be very, very tense for the next few minutes.
Well, the gold mine's going to get themselves into somewhere between decent and immense, because it's about to get eaten up there in about 50 seconds by that Kraken. No infusions going down from either side, but a lot of reflex blocks back and forth. And MYQ, I don't know, he just really wants to make something happen here, but the whole team is just not on the same page. Jetpacks is going to be looking for that Shadows, but as long as we protect this gold mine, wow, this Suri Strike right over it. They're going to look for a kill here on top of Jetpacks, but from Hell's Heart, it's going to go out, does not hit anybody, and Legendaries is still standing. He is going to be throwing out that forward barrage. They're looking for Waldemar. They're looking for anybody they can get. And the Cleave with the Blood Song. CJ Mantle able to take that one home. Fortress now there into hot pursuit. Afterburn through it. Krull takes down the Sky off camera, though. He's going to come back for the defense here. Could he actually take down the Akuma? Will the Puppies pick up the Celeste? I don't think neither will actually happen, but despite the trades, it will still be a big gold payout right now for the Rebel Tigers.
Yeah, 260 gold per player going over to them. That increases this gold lead to almost 5,000. It's still not a convincing gold lead for 15 minutes in.
Akuma, that's going to be a core collapse. Oh, he gets hit by the Heliogenesis, and Jetpacks is there as well. That was way too greedy from this puppy.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what kind of been the story of this game in particular. Both sides have been extremely greedy and making very aggressive plays that are just not paying off and are actually giving opportunities to the enemy team, as Jetpack's going to be charging in on the Mantle, but he still has Afterburn, so not going to really be worried too much there.
All right, so Legendaries is back into the fray, off into the jungle a little bit. What did he pick up? Well, he has that Broken Myth now to go with the Void Battery, and back and forth, I mean, we got breaking points on both sides. We got Broken Mist on both sides. Those Frostburn, very similar item builds for a lot of these guys going back and forth. One thing to note is that we don't actually have a Life Spring, or sorry, a Fountain of Renewal on the side of SK Gaming.
Yeah, they haven't actually opted for that big regeneration item, which is really surprising to me. I mean, they do have a lot of, obviously, Kroll has a lot of lifesteal on his own, but Lifespring just makes the fights last a lot longer, as the fights is breaking out right now.
Yeah, Death from Above not really going to get a lot of value, and we did actually do a forward barrage in the wrong way. They're going to be paying for that with now Kroll picking up a kill, going unbeatable. Would you believe? There's a little bit of a shaky early game has led Jetpacks now into a 5-1-1 score, picking up an even harvest on the back of that as well here for Waldemar. And now that they have broken the advances of Rebel Tiger, they're going to go for this Kraken. I don't really see Glaive coming back into this one to pick it up.
Yeah, this is going to go down way too quickly as they just about have it finished and no one is in target.
He's just way too late.
He wanted it. He wanted to go for that heroic play, but it just didn't happen. And so now, are they going to be able to defend this Kraken is going to be the question.
Well, they have a lot of turrets now still in that lane. In fact, those turrets are not even touched.
Yeah, and that's on both sides. Every single turret in this game really hasn't had any damage done to it. So this Kraken is going to be really big at finally breaking that open and getting a lot of gold, but there's going to be a fight too.
Oh, Legendaries get stunned up, and he doesn't have the support. He's going to go down to Waldemar. Picks up that one kill. Akuma's now not looking so hot here either, but we turn around. CJ Mantle gets decimated. Waldemar, core collapse. It's going to be the reflex block to save him, but the Heliogenesis are still chasing him down. Akuma and crew looks like they're going to live through this one. Waldemar's on top of that scout trap. He's not going to get hit, but one turret down. They're going to go for a second, and that makes this turret very valuable. This Kraken could even go into a third. We're not going to have Legendaries for another 8 seconds.
Yeah, Kraken hasn't really taken that much. Most of the damage it's taken has been from the turrets blowing up, and so they are going to get onto this third one as now Rebel tries to defend this one here, but they're still taking so much harass from the Heliogenesis, and there goes the Solar Storm.
Oh, it didn't hit.
Not quite enough, but the Kraken is still beating away at this turret.
Yeah, it's not going to get a third, but it's going to bring it down low. Death from Above has to be used on it, and noticing that Legendaries is back and the snipe didn't work. That was the kind of big signal for retreat right there from SK Gaming. But still, they got 2 turrets, a kill, nearly a third by the end of it. Only less than 4,000 gold between these teams now, and a bit of shopping now to go to them, as really we had a huge map advantage for a bit from SK Gaming. But now with Kraken out, with a few of those turrets down, I mean, SK again, they're really climbing back into this match.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what we were talking about, the late game strength of this SK team. With the Kroll, with the Celeste, they have so much damage, and these fights are going to take forever. You have people that are very difficult to kill. Obviously, Glaive is a big melee bruiser. You have the Arden and the Kroll. Both of those take so long to take down that these breaking points are going to be so important to keep an eye on. The stacks, and if they can keep them attacking. But MYQ getting caught out of position here.
Does he have anywhere to go? He needs a Vanguard. He needs a Gauntlet. Well, he's going to throw it down, but Jetpacks is now dealing with a 3-on-1 situation inside the cage, but he is actually surviving a heck of a long time, but by the end of it, it's going to be the Fortress roaming forward. The 400 damage crits back to back. That's going to be Fortress again with the kill. 6, 2, and 4. He's actually tied for the most kills on his team. Akuma, the Fortress god at this point, and now a little bit of time here for Rebel Tigers to come back into this with their own turret pressure.
Yeah, they hesitated a bit, deciding if they wanted to just get the minions pushing up with them, but then they finally decided, okay, we're strong enough, we can just push in without the minions and take these turrets. We can ignore that backdoor defense, but Akuma is taking so much damage.
Is that going to be enough? Oh, the 600 damage hit! Going to put down that dog for a little bit here, but still 2 turrets for the 2. The ace buffed minions coming in, but they're not really going to make a heck of a dent on top of that last one. And all of a sudden, again, like SK Gaming climbing back into it, but getting ace and losing 2 turrets, it's a heck of a gold layover right there to Rebel Tigers.
And actually, the thing with that is when Rebel Tigers got their 2 turrets pushed, they still got 1,500 gold from taking out the Kraken.
Yep, and Legendaries.
SK didn't have that.
Oh, Legendaries, could this be a little bit too greedy again? Core collapse, the Solar Storm goes down as well. And Waldemar is saying that we will take this match, and we will 2-0 here right now, right here. And that's 2 teammates dead here for Rebel Tigers. It's just CJ Mantle for the defense, and you can see he's going to be sticking to this turret like glue.
Yeah, he needs to be extremely safe.
No.
Uh-oh, here comes the Kraken respawning. So that's going to be very big. The infusions are starting to really play a big role here as well. But looking at the Kraken, it's getting started up, and it doesn't look like CJ Mantle or Akuma want any part of trying to stop this.
Well, there could be any kind of, you know, Hardy Bush ready to
maybe
go.
Here they go.
Could be the Kraken. I mean, if they make one false step, it could be game for Rebel Tigers. And, well, if they're going to go for this, well, they missed that window of opportunity. The Kraken was basically started immediately by that Celeste, and this is the second time Rebel Tigers have to look for that defense. Look at the infusions coming up.
Yeah, at least they do have all 3 members here to defend this time around. So they should be able to at least stop it from getting too much.
More infusion. Everybody, I think, is doubled up. They have.
Yeah, every single hero has double infusions now. The Kraken is going to be pushing in on this turret that is low. So we're going to have to watch and see if SK is going to go for the fight or if they're going to take the turret. That's going to be the decision they have to make, and we're about to find it. Looks like they just want the turret before the Kraken even gets there.
Oh, the gauntlet landed on top of Akuma there as well. Legendary's off to the side. CJ Mantle gets absolutely destroyed. He goes right through it for that stun, but Legendary's is staying very mobile on it. The solar snipe goes out, but it's not enough. He's actually still standing. Another Heliogenesis brought him low, but he's still sticking, and this Kraken is so very healthy. There is very little damage on the side of Rebel Tiger because they are just losing out these turrets. Jetpacks and Waldemar are staying as far away as they can. They do not have MYQ, and it is a 2v3 assault, but the Kraken is still going to go. It's on top of the Crystal now. We need to get these kills, or we need to stop this Kraken, but you can't do both. It looks like Waldemar, he's going to be the target. Jetpacks now, he has to go to this Vein Crystal because he has that Kraken now calling down. 1 hit, 2 hits. Will this actually work out? No. It won't. They defend, and this is going to be just now a rat race all the way to the other side of the map.
Yeah, 20 seconds till MYQ comes up, but MYQ is not going to be able to defend these turrets. This could be huge for Rebel Tiger as they make their way down the lane now. They're not going to have minions with them right away. They will eventually, but they're just going to try and push in, see if they can take these turrets. They're not going to be able to win the game off of this because MYQ is now up. Waldemar is going to be up in 20 seconds. It's going to take them more than 20 seconds with MYQ here to defend.
Well, they're going to go straight for it. Another good stun with the gauntlet. Hits CJ Manto. Akuma was tanking this turret out. He gets stunned there as well, but the turret doesn't seem to be very interested in him anymore. Death from above comes out, and it is going to drop. MYQ is still going to be standing, but so will all of Rebel Tigers, and they do push in more and more. It feels like this next big team fight is game.
Yeah, absolutely. Whoever wins the next fight, if an ace comes out, even if only one person is left alive, if an ace happens, game is over because the death timers are so long at this point. It's going to be, this game is literally just balancing on a knife's edge because it is just flat out next fight wins.
17 kills to 9, and the games are still this close. Rebel Tigers sitting comfy on 8,000 gold over their opponents, and they are still very much in danger of actually losing this match.
Yeah, SK, the Kraken control and the taking advantage of Kraken and pushing down multiple turrets every time that they got that siege objective on their side has been the story of this game for them. The fact that they were able to take Kraken both times and both times take 2 to 3 turrets is really what has them still in this game because they have not really been winning straight up fights, as we are probably going to get one right here.
Being this far forward, it feels a little dicey for SK Gaming. The defensive gauntlet's going to come out. They get the stun. CJ Manto and crew, they're dropping low. Waldemar is actually sniping it through with the Solar Storm. CJ Manto has to now run, but Jetpacks is on top of him, and it will be the 2-0 exchange. Legendaries is the only one standing, but he will not have the damage to take on all 3 of these guys, and SK Gaming is going to be marching right down through this one. The reflex block says no to the death from above. Legendaries is still doing fantastic kite work up against Jetpacks, but here comes now Waldemar. 1 and 2. The core collapse doesn't hit. Legendaries is still going. He nearly takes down Jetpacks. 1 more Heliogenesis. 2 more. They're looking for it. They get it. That's going to be the ace, and that is 2-0 from SK. They will, despite being behind in a ton of gold and a ton of kills, take this series 2-0.
Yeah, and Jetpack's gonna go with a little bit of style points there, getting himself killed on the base of their opponents, knowing that his teammates had more than enough damage.
Wow.
And SK